Hey, it's Ty Crandall with Credit Suite. In this short video, we're going to talk about how you can get funding for a startup business. By the end of this training, you're going to know several different options that most entrepreneurs know nothing about that's going to help you get money to get a business off the ground. So let's start with where not to go. So if you're trying to get money for a startup, the last thing you want to do is actually go to your bank. And the reason for this is that banks deal with SBA loans. These conventional lenders typically need a lot of things to be able to get you to get approved and qualify, including good credit, including collateral, and cash flow verifiable with tax returns. Oftentimes, 2 to 3 years worth of tax returns. So you don't have those as a startup, and conventional banks are not the place to go. So what can you do? Well, luckily, there's a lot of options that can work for you, focusing on certain strengths that you may have even before your business gets off the ground. This opens up a lot of alternative lending options through what are called fintech lenders, or marketplaces and online lenders that have this specialized kind of funding. So let's dive in and talk a little bit more. For example, one of the most common types of funding that's out there is called collateral or asset-based lending. And with this kind of financing, you're dealing with very low interest rates, 5% or less, works great for startups, and all you need to get approved is some kind of legitimate collateral or some kind of asset that can use as collateral. So you don't need to have good credit and you don't need to have cash flow. So some of the most common types of assets that are used for collateral for a collateral-based lending include 401ks, stocks, bonds, IRAs, equipment, inventory, account receivables, commercial real estate, commercial vehicles. The key is to have an asset. Even if you have equity in your home, it can open up options for you to qualify for low rate financing even as a startup. So one of the most common types of financing in this category is what's known as security-based financing. Now this is using stocks and bonds that can actually serve as collateral to get you low interest rate credit lines, as low as 1.6%. Now, you might be saying, I don't have stocks and bonds. That's okay. You can also use the guarantor or somebody else's stocks and bonds to qualify. And the great news is they only lose if you ever default on the credit line. If you don't default on the credit line, they still earn interest on those stocks and bonds, and you have a really cool creative way to tap into getting money from other people around you other than just asking them for cash. Now, something similar along this line is known as 401k financing. And with this kind of financing, again, you can get a low limit credit line or a low interest credit line for less than 5% interest using your 401k or IRA or that of somebody else. Now, the best part is this is based on IRS proven tax strategy. So you won't have any kind of tax penalties if you use this kind of financing. All you need to get approved is really some kind of 401k or IRA from you or from somebody else. Now, as I mentioned, you can also use a guarantor as well. You might have somebody else around you that has stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs. Maybe somebody else has a big piece of equipment or inventory you can use as collateral. Those are other creative ways to get money for a startup. 75% of startups get money from family and friends. This is a much easier way to get money from family and friends because you're not asking them for cash. Instead, what you're doing is asking them to use something they have as an asset as collateral, and they only lose if you ever default on the financing. If not, then you can actually use their asset as collateral, and they can help you without taking any money out of their pocket. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Also, on top of that, make sure you get in touch with us for a free funding consultation, where we'll talk to you about all the funding that you can qualify for right now, a lot of which most entrepreneurs know nothing about. And you can do that by giving us a ring at 877-600-2487. That means get your free funding consultation at 877-600-2487.